Guys, welcome, and today we'll talk about the LPG, about autogas. LPG, which is liquid petroleum gas for your car, is some type of substitute for a gasoline, for petrol. So you can use a different fuel in your gasoline car. And you can install that LPG installation mostly in all cars in the market. There's some issues in the boxer engine, in the one-tail engine, but in the common 4, 6, 8 cylinder engine, and the most common are 4 and V6 engines. There's no problem with that, absolutely. If you have indirect injection, it's a cheaper equipment. If you have a direct injection, that's a little more expensive, because the price is between 600 euros for indirect injection up to 2000 euros in a special 5th generation direct injection. And you have a first and a second generation gasoline equipment, that the LPG equipment for older car from early 90s, and from the late 90s and new cars you have 4th and 5th generation. 4th generation, that's direct with one separate injection for each cylinder. That's for indirect, there's a 4th generation. For a direct, it's 5th generation, and it's possible to install in mostly all cars. What's the best of that? That your car takes about 10 to 15% more LPG than gasoline. But the other thing is that's absolutely great. That's much cheaper. And I know that now the price of LPG is getting higher, and it's about 70 euro cent in a city, up to €1 per liter on a highway. But the price of gasoline is 1.6, 1.7 euro in a city, up to €2 per liter on a highway. So it's more than twice more expensive. So if you compare 0.7 to 1.7, so that's much more, over twice more expensive. And if you compare €1 to 2, that's exactly twice more expensive. So it's a great idea. Of course, if you if you drive about 500 miles, let's compare. If you drive 5,000 miles monthly, of course that will be great, or more, 5,000 miles or more, it will be great. But if you drive 1 or 2,000 miles or less than 5,000, you need to calculate what's better for you. From my point of view, when I drive a lot, it's a great idea, because I save money on each kilometer, on each mile, on the way I save money. So it's a really great. For example, if I want to go 100 kilometers distance, on a 100 kilometer distance, in a city, my car takes 14.5 liter of LPG, and on a highway that's 11 to 12 liter. So calculate on a highway 11 liter. If I have to pay 1.7, so 1.7 is 17 plus 18, almost 19 euros for 100 kilometers. If you will compare that 18 euros for gasoline to LPG, that's 0.7 multiplied by 11, so that's 8 euro. So I save 10 euros on 100 kilometers on the highway. 10 euros on the highway. What in a city? So let's have 14.5 multiplied by 1.7. So from it's about, of course, I don't have a calculator here. It's 26 euros for a gasoline, 26, and for LPG there's 14.5 multiplied by 0.7. I use the price from a city. On a highway it's also the same. It will be the same. This is €1 difference between the price of gasoline and LPG, but 14.5 multiplied by 0.7, so that's 7 and a half, so 10 and a half, 26 minus 10 and a half, so that's about 15 euros saving on LPG. So now we know that in my car with that gasoline consumption and that engine, I save 10 euro on each 100 kilometers on a city and 15 euros on 100 kilometers in a city. So on a highway it's 10 and that's 15. So then you need to compare. If you go from Berlin to Köln, which is a little over 700 kilometers, so calculate 750, so the 7.5 multiplied by 10, so I save 75 euros on that way, 75 euros on each 1000 kilometer I save 100 euros, so that's a lot. That's a lot of money. Okay, you will say that you need to pay a little more for your car examination every year. Yes, I understand, of course. You are completely right. I have to pay a little more for my car examination every year, but that's the difference of about 15, 20, let's say 20 euros. Or it's more expensive my car examination every year, and I have to change some filter from a time to time. Let's say that I have to change a filter which costs me 30 euros twice a year, so that's a 60 euro plus 20 for examination, that's 80 euros every year expenses for that. That's not a lot, it's very cheap, and I save 100 on each 1000 kilometers, so you can see that I have to drive 800 kilometer distance just to be able to pay off all that fees, and I make a lot of more. Yeah, exactly. If you will compare it, that I made about 7,000 kilometers monthly, so I say, so that's per year 770 plus 14, 84,000 kilometers, 84,000. So so that's 84 by 100 on each, so that's 84, 100, 2 zeros, so that's 8,400 euros save per year, almost 8,500 euro I save every year just because I have that installation. And for what? That I have a car with an older indirect injection engine, so I had to pay 600 for that all equipment, and then I pay 80 per year for that, and I save eight and a half thousand euro for that's my spare. That's savings for that. I don't use gasoline. I use LPG. So that's a really great idea. And I use the price which is now that the LPG and the gasoline is much more expensive than before. So it was much cheaper, and the difference was even more before, because the difference few months ago was about 64 cents. So it was cheaper, 64 cent, 60 cent for diesel, for LPG, and 1.4 for gasoline. So it was about 80 cent savings on a liter. So it was a little less. It was 20% less savings. So okay, that was a little less, but now when the price goes up and the difference between LPG and gasoline is even bigger, so there's this €1 difference. You can see that with €1 difference on the price, it makes a lot. And is it good for the engine? From my point of view, if you buy a good equipment, make a good installation of LPG in your car, it's not much more expensive. It's more. Maybe it will be, that installation will be more expensive for about 50, maybe €100 for an installation. You will not pay 600 by 700 for that. Okay, I understand. So you pay a little more for that, but with a good, it's a safe for your car if you have a good equipment. So pay a little more in the workshop, in the garage. Pay a little more for guys who do this to make it right, and you will have a really good thing. Even if you have older car, which is many years after warranty period, so it's 20-year-old or 15-year-old or 20-year-old car, if you will buy that equipment for that LPG installation, you will have 2-year warranty. So it's really great, and you will pay some money, but look, you pay 600 or 700 euro for that installation, even if you will pay 700 for installation to indirect engine, or 2000 for a direct injection engine. Look, 700, so that's on 1000 kilometers, 100. On you need to drive 7,000 kilometers, and you are after 7,000 kilometers, you are in plus. Of course, you will have to drive 20,000 just if you have a direct injection engine. And I compare, of course, that your car takes 14.5 liter in the city and 11 on a highway, and the difference from a price from a gasoline to LPG is €1. Of course, this is something standard, but I use information about my car, which takes that amount of gasoline. I know that modern cars takes less gasoline, of course, if you drive slow. If you don't drive slow, it takes more. But that's really important thing. Let's see. We will see, guys. We will see. Oh my God! So I think we deliberated and talked about the information that it's not a good idea to install LPG in your car anymore, because the LPG is going up. It's more and more expensive, of course, but the difference is also very important, and how much your car takes. So that's our EA, and what distance you drive every year. So that's the important thing. Of course, if you go around the house or just to a store, maybe that's not a good idea for you. But if you drive across Germany 4 times a month from Berlin to Köln and back 4 times a month, that's a different story. And you will spend a little more maybe in our workshop just for brakes, for oil and other things, but it will be much more comfortable for you. And sometimes even 20-year-old car like that one is still a great and much better idea than some new small car, which is not that nice, and it will be much better idea for you. Thanks for watching my small talk about an LPG and where is a good idea and where is not. I think it's very nice. Thanks for watching and see you soon.